Htmx, a native database. Apollo, how are you doing? How are you doing tonight? Or morning or evening? I don't have a good judgment of where you are, but I hope it's good no matter where it is. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start building out our next. So what I'm going to try to do, what I'm hoping to do, is build out some. One of these is wrong. Yeah. This one. All right. So what I'm hoping to do is I've had this database thing where we learn about databases, and we've done it live on stream, and then I would make videos. The videos haven't done that well on YouTube, but I'm going to give it one more shot. And then if it doesn't do well, what I'll do is I'll just do the live recordings, and those database episodes will just be null bytes, and we'll move on. They'll have less production quality, and that will be okay, or will have to be okay, because they're not really worth my time. But I'm going to give it one more shot, and I'll see how people like it. So we're going to work on the null database today. We actually have kind of two episodes mostly done in code. It needs cleaned up for sure, but mostly accomplished in code. So what I was going to do is, we're for this week, today, Thursday, and Saturday, we'll do database stuff. Because what I'm going to do is we're going to build out these two, what we did in consensus and the file system. I think what I'll do is I'm going to do this YouTube video, this first one, on the file system, and then I'll look at if that does well. I'll do the consensus one. The consensus one is going to be big and hard and difficult. It's maybe the better YouTube video, honestly. Maybe I'm morally obligated to make both of them real YouTube videos instead of just the null bytes where I do it live. We'll see. We'll see how much time, energy, and effort I have for it. The database is in Rust. The database is in Rust. It's not in Go. Not for any particular reason. I mean, actually, I wouldn't write a database in Go. You can't have a language that GCs. Not that that would matter here, though, because it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is that it's a for education database. So it's never going to be a production database. In a production database, you could never have a GC. Like, that would just be beyond a non-starter. Yeah, etcd is in Go. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Do you know one person who likes etcd? Like, really likes etcd? I don't know. No one likes etcd. And this is not to be mean to anybody, but no one really likes etcd. Etcd solves a problem, and we use it that way. And it's a big thing because of its ability to be embedded. Like, it's embedded kind of in Kubernetes. And Kubernetes just needed a key value store. And to be honest, there's not a good open source key value store that does the same thing. I know that Aerospike has the community edition, but that kind of locks you to a vendor. So if we're talking about vendor neutral key value stores at the time of Kubernetes, there wasn't really a better option. that wasn't locking you into a vendor. That's being specific. And so maybe that's the sad state of things. But all right, so we're going to do this. Let's see, lesson plan. So we're gonna go through the code. So sorry, I'm bringing you along my refresher on the code. And we're gonna build our lesson plan. I'm going to try to make these for the main channel. YouTube is a strange and weird thing to me, so I don't know how well they will do here. Obviously, these things do really well. These haven't. So I get about 100 views on them. Yeah, 131 views. This one got, like, I think a lot of people clicked on it, but then nobody watched it. So it looks better at 1.2 thousand views, but it's not actually better. Like, I didn't get any subscribers or anything from it at all or any. And I put a lot of work into these videos, so I'm going to try to do it a little bit differently. It's going to be more informative, and what I think I'm going to try to do is make the education here on Twitch, where we're actually talking about those things and actually doing those things and actually recording those things as null bytes. And then we're going to do a high-level overview of what we did, this informative, fun style of video for the main YouTube. I think that's what we're going to do. We'll see how it turns out. You guys let me know how it goes. I'd love honest feedback on those. I don't know what I think about TikTok. I mean, to be fair, it's not allowed in my house. I have young children, and I don't think that type of content is good for their maturing brains. So, you know, I have very little exposure to it because it was easy enough to block it at my router. So, I mean, I could make it where I could access it, but whatever. I've thought about making some shorts and stuff. You know, the thing is with all of these things is they're probably all really good for my YouTube channel. They're probably all would make this grow. They would all be really good, but they all take time. And unless if I was to do something like this full time, like, do I have the time to also do the shorts? Or if I could hire somebody to help me edit and make shorts and cut all of those things, it would be, but I can't. I don't make any money. So, and for about 62,000 views on this, you know, it's gonna come out and maybe make $80. That's what it's estimated at right now. So there you go. If you want to know what ads on a 4-minute YouTube video, it's about $80. Yeah, you're honest, I'd get 10 times. It's not even 10 times. My normal views is like 258. So it's well more than 10 times. We're talking about 2 orders of magnitude more. It's like 100 times. This one is like 100 times. This is like 200 times. So yeah, I get like 100 views. There's a random one, and this actually, this Rusty Enums actually did do very well. A lot of the other ones didn't. But yeah. Yeah, that's how it is for me. Let's see. But yeah, I would like to do more of those things. I agree. I just don't have the time. Not currently. Maybe in the future I would have enough time. Yeah. And then I thought maybe I'll release like a short once a month, but I'm not sure that YouTube would like that. Like, I feel like if you do shorts, you have to do like one a day. And there's no way I do one a day, even if I streamlined it. But there's no way I post something interesting once a day. Like, that's just not gonna happen. Yeah. Even if I was to cut them from the stream, like, I know a lot of the tech streamers do that. The majority of their shorts are just from their stream. I just don't have the time. Dude, my honest ads, let's see. This has more likes than any video I've released before it. More likes than any other video got views. Just to put that in context, nothing gets 4,000 views. It has more likes than any other video I have has views. The pain is relatable to that many people. Oh. So I'm actually in a tough spot here. They're not quite doing, if you look at the comments, they're not doing exactly what I wanted. And so I have to rethink. Because a lot of what I wanted to do was to make something that was funny, that got us willing to talk about these topics. But it really just, in the comments, people were either taking one side or the other. And that wasn't really my goal. My goal was to talk about how Scrum usually goes off the rails, and then hopefully have streams about how and why companies tend to get sidetracked with Scrum, and how so much process gets in there, and why they even want to do that, because a lot of the companies don't even have the desire to have that much, but they have stuff like SOC and these things like that press on them for this other stuff. And so my goal was to do that. And if you actually look, I mean, like, the reason I bring this up is not a big deal to me with Scrum, because I don't like Scrum. I don't like Scrum. But I have this Rust and AI one. And the Rust was going to be the next one, maybe the AI one. It depends on which one I finish and I like the best. And no, I'm not showing you. I have these two. And the problem is, I love Rust, and I don't want people to think otherwise. But I thought that this was a fun, entertaining way to bring up some of the challenges I see with Rust, and some of the challenges Rust has. It doesn't mean that I dislike it and don't think that it's amazing. Obviously, anybody that knows me would know this, but my goal isn't to start a holy war with it. It is to get us talking about some of the things that aren't great about Rust. Same with AI. I actually like the concepts of AI. I just haven't liked how the companies have done it. And so this is a critique or a satire on the actual companies more than machine learning, statistical analysis itself. So I don't know. We'll see how those come out. Is there a joke about... No, I don't joke about the only jobs. I wish. So I might be able to make, like, as you saw there, I've done an honest Kubernetes ad, but I'm going to do more specific ones. So the jokes have to, like, flow. There has to be, like, a narrative. And so not all of them fit in with the narrative. And so that one wouldn't fit in with the narrative. It's a good joke, though. So it's not the narrative as it's currently going. It's not recorded or anything. So I guess we could change the narrative, but same for Go these days. I would like to do it with Go too. So this is my problem, is because, like, I don't want people... My honest ads are meant to maybe make us take things less seriously and let us have a serious conversation about these topics. It's meant to take something that people dearly like and poke a little fun at it. That's my hope and goal. So, and like I said, I'm planning on doing Rust. I have a lot of Rust thoughts and ideas put down because and nothing is perfect. And that's my whole point with those is, now, some things are easier to make some honest ads about. Let's put it this way. Scrum was super easy. There was hundreds of things that didn't even make it into it to keep it down, the time down. There was so much about Scrum that I could have gone on and on about, but yeah, I don't know. All right, let's see. The file system. Okay, so what we did like 2 months ago now, at this point, was we basically, we took our database, and our database originally was just a text file. So this is originally, we had a text file, and each one of these, let's see, it was, oh my goodness, key value. And so it was like Merrick, 82, Dutch, 43. So this is how we did the key value. This is how our log worked. So what we did was we basically went to something that looks like this. Now, one of the goals, one of the reasons we needed to do this was basically there was no information. One of the things that was weird, if we wanted to delete, remember we used tombstone values, was basically if we wanted to delete Merrick, you didn't delete a record, it's an immutable log. So we did Merrick, and then we did this, I think we did something like, what was it? It was something like something like this, which meant, in theory, this. Wait, this is not. You could never have this as a value. If you put this as a value, the database would actually think it was deleted. So this was kind of a problem. The tombstone issue was a problem. So we needed a way to have metadata about a record. And honestly, this goes into more than what we just did, because another thing that we did was put index, because this is something that was needed for So index was something that was, we'll look at the JSON record and not the HTML record, but index was something that we did for our consensus. Tombstone was done, again, this is metadata about the object and then the actual value that was there. So this is it deleted? And this is, again, is our consensus and the key for it. So this allows us to do this, but it also allows us to do more. And this is what we're going to get a little bit into in the video, where it does more than this because we can now do versions and things like that. So let's put this, we're gonna just copy and paste this, just this, I guess. Not that. Not that. Thank you very much. Can we do it? This is my nightmare. Copy and pasting out of Vim. Wait. We'll just yank it. That always works, right? That didn't work though. Let's put that on the side there. Yeah, that's better. Okay. You look, no, well, I am actually older than 32. 35, soon to be 36. So there you go. Personal information about me. Okay, so, well, the title is somewhat clickbait. The title is, and by somewhat, I mean kind of. One cool thing is we did build a way to view this with pure Htmx, which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun. So you can set the record as HTML, and it will actually store the record as HTML, and you can view this HTML directly. And now one part that we haven't done, which I was going to do this week, was basically make a record viewer on this with Htmx, where it just served the records. When you searched and stuff for the records from the database, it just served the HTML that is stored on the disk. So we had fun with it, is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, there's a JSON record, a HTML record, and then there is a protobuf record or binary record, which is pretty much what we would use. Yeah, so the file engine can be JSON, HTML, or proto. So in JSON and proto, you wouldn't be able to use the Htmx record viewer thing. Again, fun. I'm trying to make this fun while we're also having education stuff. So hopefully that's fair enough. Like I said, to be clear, this is not a database people should use. This is for our education. And I know that I overemphasize that, but you guys have to realize that I work for a database company, and it would look very bad on me to make a competing product, which I am not doing. I am not in any way making a competing thing. This is, again, just educational on the basics of databases. All right. Okay, so we went from this to this, which allows us to store a bunch of information. There was actually a piece of information that we don't store that we probably, So one thing that we could do that we don't do right now is there's a lot of other information like a version number. Wow. So we could store a version number. This could actually be there's two different versions that we could be keeping track of. We could be keeping track of how many times this record has changed, this key, or we could be keeping track of schema versions. So that's another one that. So why schema version? Well, maybe we make a breaking change. Whoa. Maybe we make a breaking change to this for something. And maybe we have an upgrade process. You know, we're going from version 1 of our database to version 2, and we want people to just be able to update. Thank you so much for following. There's your custom thing. The schema version is going to allow you to do that. So, you know, we could go from version 1 to version 2, and that is what it is. As well as the version here. So those are two things that you can keep track of. This version is actually really important in consensus maintaining. Now, it's not used, it's effectively the same as this index is used for, when we did consensus, we did Raft, and Raft uses index, but a lot of them use a record version. And we can talk about that, but we don't need to. Anyways, I will talk about this. These are to talk about ones. They're not in our database right now, but I think they'll be good in the video to just talk about why we want not just the information. There's other information in the record that we store. What is the point of tombstoning? Well, I made a video on it that nobody watched. And if you watch that, this one, compaction, if you watch that video, you would know what it is. I put so much work. I'm sorry. I'm salty because I put so much work into those videos for them not to be watched, which is fine. Like, I look on the bright side. I hope that it helps the people that it helps. And I need to get better about making them more fun. So that's maybe on me. I just suck at YouTubing, and that's that. So basically what happens in a log-based database is up to this point, we have these log segments. And basically the log segments are append only, which means when you get a new record, you just add it to the end of the log. When the file fills up, you create a new file and you keep writing to that log segment. So, we added a new one. Now we go. These are read only. And I get into the videos. If you watch the video series, they're not super long, but if you watch the video series, this allows us to actually be blazing fast with writes. Just really blazing fast. Basically, there is no locking around writing, which is just, obviously there is some locking because only one thing can write at one time, but only writing blocks writing. Reading doesn't ever, which is awesome. We pull some tricks to do that, and that's some of the learning that I was trying to achieve there. So we write to this log, and then the really cool thing here is that because it's append only, we can't say, oh, I want to delete this log. That's super thick. That's super thick. Okay, let's thin that down. Okay, we can't say, I want to delete that log. Can't do it. It's append only. It's write only. So what we do is we write a log that says, I want to delete you. And yeah, so you know what I said, watch that one. You kind of have to watch all of them because you have to understand what there is a playlist. There is a playlist. So if you click on this, this is part of a playlist. I don't know how to view the playlists. I wish I was a better YouTuber. Wait. Here we go. There's a playlist. You can find it that has all of them. Watch all of them. There's only like 5. They're super simple. And the cool thing that I've tried to do with all of these is I have code to go with all of them. We don't just talk about it. You can see here, we do talk about it. I try to build graphs and draw and talk about actual, like, I try to put the data there. But the cool thing is all of this exists in an open source project. So you can go check out the code yourself. And each one is in a different branch. So you can actually just go check out that branch. So it's actually the code you see in the video instead of having to go look for a thing. So yeah, anyways, that's the thing. So that's how a lot of people delete. A lot of databases actually delete this way. They don't go, and when you ask it to delete something, it doesn't go delete it. It makes a notice that you want to delete it. Right. Yes. And so compaction, what compaction does is it goes and combines these two. Because let's say that half of these things are deletes. This was a delete, this was a delete, this is a delete, this is a delete, whatever. You get the idea. And it says, okay, well, and you know what, this, this is actually updating a previous record. This is updating a previous record. This is updating a previous record. You know, the white lines are all new ones. Those are updating previous records, and the red ones are delete. And then it goes and it makes compaction is where we basically go through and clean up. It's garbage collection for your database is effectively what it is. You should still go watch the video because I put a lot of work into it. But yeah. Thank you so much for the follow. I super appreciate it. Okay, so we're getting back into this. Actually, the compaction one, I think I went all out on this one. This one probably broke me a little because I did like some really amazing animations for it. Yeah. I did like these animations, which yeah. This was so much work. Oh my goodness. That was a lot of work. I think somebody also commented that it would have been better to have more graphics and animations. And I was like, oh my goodness. I did so many with this. And then nobody watched it. And then I was like, I'm done doing that. All right. There's my inner how I tell whether people like it or not. Okay, so we did this. Let me get back on track. Okay. So, what are objectives? Why we need why? Thanks, Dutch. I appreciate the watch. I do put a lot of work into them. What is some of the data? Why is it helpful? Okay. So yeah. Let's talk about, we've talked about why now. So let's keep track of things like schema version. And for us, most importantly, if it is deleted without a special character, which is really cool. Because again, before that, we had that problem. I actually think we'll have to test this. I don't know if our proto is working. I don't know if we can run it in proto. I feel like I remember a bug with it, but I don't remember. HTML and JSON work just perfectly, which is the ones we normally use anyways, because that's human readable, which is nice. All right, so that's why. Let's talk about how. All right, so NullDB supports 3 for reasons. All right, so why did we pick JSON, HTML, and Proto? This is actually something I want to talk about just a little bit because there's actually a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of different formats out there. There's actually some open source formats. What is this? Apache column database file. There's actually an open source Parquet, which is pretty cool. Parquet. Let me put this in there. Apache, which is actually just a format like these for database records for column-based databases, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about how standard database. Let's cover how industry standard databases do it. Okay, we'll just delete that. All right. So for the null database, we did JSON, HTML, and Proto, and there was a reason for this. HTML, first Htmx native database was literally a reason to do that. JSON, human readable, and then we have a binary format, Proto. So basically, if you were running this in production, binary format is going to save you the most space on disk, which is actually a valuable thing. Because with an index, we don't actually have to search for the record. We just go and get the record, which means we know we have the right record. It's not like we have to deserialize it from disk unless if we actually want it. So the cost of that is negligible, especially with something like protobuffers or flat buffers. Very negligible. But it's not human readable. So a lot of the times when we're doing it, we like to run it in JSON. And the reason we like running in JSON is we can open it up and see how the database is operating. So for educational purposes, JSON is amazing. A lot of real databases don't have this option. The only one that comes to mind is MongoDB. They have their BSON, which is basically binary JSON, and I believe they allow you to run the database also in JSON, which is then human readable, but at a major performance penalty. So that's basically why we have these. And we'll talk about industry standard, how databases do it. We'll talk about some of the file formats. And then we'll talk about what we did. We'll cover how we did it. So this is actually pretty cool. We did it as these enums. So one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to encapsulate all of the logic for doing that here, and then allow us to just use this. We made what is it called? We made this file manager is what it's called. We made this file manager. Where is is it in here? Yeah, this file engine. So we made this file engine that basically obfuscates all of that for us. So while the database is running, and in the rest of the code, we have records, but we don't actually know if it's a JSON, HTML, or proto, which was pretty fun. And so we'll cover that really quickly. Like I said, I'm going to try to make these more fun for YouTube. So I'm going to be lighter on the details, and I'm going to go into those details here more. I mean, obviously, we wrote all of this here on YouTube, so or on Twitch live. So I kind of dropped it. People weren't appreciating it, and so I dropped it. But I really like this project. This was a really cool project that we were doing, and I learned a lot doing it. So I wanna pick it back up. So yeah. This allowed us to basically not know all of the matches are contained here. So when you make a new record, basically on new record, it would check which engine it is and make a new record for that. And you just have this record object. And record is either a JSON, HTML, or proto. And in the engine, you could tell if you wanted to, but in general, you don't need to know the difference. And that's why you're able to deal with it this way. I thought that this was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool file engine, and I liked how Rust allowed us to solve it without using an interface. So this is a really powerful thing of the sum types that I absolutely love. This is why I wish Go would get sum types, is because this allowed me to do this without an interface. You could do the same thing with an interface and 3 different things that implemented the interface. But I actually just had a actual type. So yeah, any questions at this point? This was just a helper function. Actually, we probably should clean this up. I feel like we should split out the record stuff in the file engine. Should we do that? I feel like we should. I will regret this for sure, but I think this would make it cleaner. This is kind of what I wanted to do, was just, we got stuff working. Doesn't mean that it was in the best working order, unfortunately. Let's see. Or it doesn't mean that we got it looking like it should for a video. I need to also add more comments. For whoever it is that's going to complain about comments and code, if you're making educational content, you should have more comments than you should normally. And I probably should have more comments than I do anyways. Beautiful. Actually, if the AIs do two things well. They do repetitive tasks really well, generally. They also sometimes generate amazing comments for you. That's not actually. You can get that from what is this doing? Oh, this is actually parsing it, right? Oh, yeah, this is just named poorly. Should we change this to parse record from a string? Oh, one second. Actually, so what this is doing, oh, I see. What is it doing? 1 second, maybe I don't see. We have the record. And we're passing it this, but if we, wait. This is like the whole record. We're 1 second. I gotta refresh my mind here. I have no idea what pre-Merrick did on this. All right, let's see. What is this value? What is this value? You can get a value from a segment. Let's see. So here's the file buffer. We read it. We read the line. Okay, so this is just the raw record. And this is just parsing the record. Let's go and look at the function and make sure that's what it's doing. So we're going to match on what file engine it is. So basically this, if you run it as an HTML engine and then run it with JSON, it's not going to have any of the records because, again, it will only be able to parse JSON or records at the time. So then this is just taking the value. Yeah. This is just part. We should rename this to not this. We'll rename it though when it's not broken, because as you can see, it's broken because what we need to do is we need to go in here and go to mod file. And what we need to do is pub create. Wait. Pub mod file engine and pub mod record. Okay, and then we can remove the unused, and then we can jump over to where that was being used back here. Ooh, ooh. Can't use these things. What? What? Oh, record is now across the field, right? Oh, we're gonna have some. Oh, this is public. Good, 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 good. Good, good, good. Okay, so we're not gonna have a problem. We just need to actually update our use. Oh, it's file. Oh, it's file. All right. Cool, cool, cool. We actually might be able to get, let's see. Can we get Vim to do this? Ooh, I forgot what code actions was. Was it space CA? It was. Import. There we go. Space CA. Thank you. Thank you. What arguments? Ooh, okay. Maybe we copied something incorrectly. We copied something incorrectly. That's okay. We'll figure this out. It does not like the proto stuff. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Probably a bad import path. Let's check here. We're going to take the rest of this. We'll put this down here, and then we'll take the rest of this and put this in where it's supposed to be. So not here. In record. Put that there. That looks okay. So now we've reduced mod to just exposing the two things, and we have a file engine, and we have this. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. This is now record. Done. And we'll just throw record in here as well. Okay. I can't believe we don't use deserialize and we use serialize. That seems highly improbable. Highly. Oh, now everything. Oh, okay. This makes sense now. All right. Field is private. Fine. We'll make them public. Yeah. This will be easy. Now I have that. I know somebody's gonna say, "Oh, multi-line something." I don't have the brain cells. I seriously need to learn that again. If Togglebit was on, he would be disappointed with me. Very disappointed. I didn't Vim for like 2 weeks. Also, Dane. 5 streams in a row. Congratulations. Cool. That cleaned up those errors. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. I think this is a little bit cleaner for show and tell for people that are coming into this. Am I going crazy yet? No. I didn't have the kids for like 3 days, and then they came back for Father's Day plus 3 more days of painting. So they're here until tomorrow. Either tomorrow night or the day after, and then they're going back. So nope. I'm good. I think, knowing me personally, it will take a little while before I go crazy with the silent house. Knowing me personally, it will take a little while. Okay. Very nice. All right, so then our record is just record stuff, right? Let's see. Record, JSON, record, serialization function, get key, get index, get tombstone, get value. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So this right here was basically a way for you to not care about what type of record it was. You go crazy in 4 hours. It's called codependency. Noise canceling headphones to make artificial. Yeah, so I think this is actually like different people's personality. I am. So like a lot of people think of introverted. All right, look, this is not even part of this, but a lot of people will say that they have introverts here. We need a thicker line now. Thicker line. They have introverts here, and they have extroverts here. And a lot of people will be like, introverts to extroverts, whatnot. You might be somewhere in the lines. But what I think is really misleading is I think that a lot of people think that introverts have a hard time being in public or whatnot. Like I actually do fairly fine speaking at conferences and things like this. I can be out in public. It doesn't bother me. Now, what I can tell you is if we visualize my energy like this, if we visualize my energy like this as a battery, because how else would we visualize it? So I consider myself an introvert, which people are blown by because they're like, well, you do Twitch and I'm like, well, I stream to like one person. So it's a pretty introverted experience for me. But you talk about these things and people are like, oh, but you also will go to conferences or meetups and give talks and things like that. And I'm like, yes, I do. But what happens is when I go out to give a talk or something like that, it drains my battery. When I go out and hang out with friends because I do it, it drains my battery. Like I don't get recharged by doing those things. Those are things that I explicitly do and that I can even find some enjoyment in doing. Like I find enjoyment hanging out with people and gathering information from them, learning from their experiences, seeing how they're doing. I like that as a human, but I'm also cognizant that I can only do it for a certain amount of time because eventually I'm just drained. Eventually, it gets to me. Whereas I feel like the people I know that are actually introverts actually get recharged by those things. Like they go out, if they haven't hung out with people, they get drained, they get weary, they get, you know, not like physically tired, but mentally tired. At least this has been my experience with it. So for me, having a perfectly quiet house, I do believe, you know, there's that room and they're like, nobody can be in it for an hour because it's perfectly silent. I could do it. 100%. I could do it. I could go in there. I would be so happy coming out after 2 hours. I'm not saying I could stay there forever. I could be there for a while, though. You want to take that bet? If they would allow me to do it, I would do it. I would do it. If I can get it so that I can do it, I'll take time off work to go there and do it. I'll spend my own money to fly out there. I feel like it would be the most refreshing thing. Oh, Dane, I didn't even see your thing. I think introversion to me is that it costs me energy after social engagement, but I can do them. Extroversion, I imagine you gain energy. 100% Dane. This is how I see it. Yeah. RDJ Power, how are you doing? Go is a good language. That's what RDJ Power said. Sorry, that was not me making that statement. Whew, whew. Before anybody points a finger at me. Whew. That was not me. Me reading chat. I got baited. So Apollo, that's a good call. Anxiety is outside of this because my wife suffers from anxiety. Now, I think my wife is more of an extrovert than I am, and where she actually needs that, long story short, my wife and son were very sick for a while. And so for like 2 or 3 years, I didn't see anybody but my wife and son. This was during the pandemic, so I was even, because they were already ill, I was even more careful because I was like, well, they're ill. So I literally didn't see anybody, and it didn't bother me. It didn't bother, but it did bother her. She was bothered by it, but she suffers from anxiety a lot. And this is tough. Because anxiety, especially for somebody who has extroverts thing, this can be a really tough combo that I've seen. Because you have this need and desire to go and socialize, but you have a ton of anxiety, which is draining. So like you have a force trying to recharge it, and you have one draining it at the same time. And this is where, for her, we can talk about having a core group of friends that isn't so anxiety inducing, and she has outlets for doing that type of stuff. But I get it. Anxiety adds an entirely different. I don't suffer from that, which I think is why, like with Dane and I, is we can go out and do conferences and things like that. And like, I'll do a conference, I'll talk with people afterwards and hang out for a little bit. And then other people are like, oh, let's go do something in the city. And I'm like, I'm going back to my room. I'm going to go to sleep. Like, I'm going to go. And I know there's a group of amazing people here. And I'll talk to them for as long as I can. And then I'm going to go back to my hotel. I'm going to call my wife and kids and say hi to them. And then either I'm going to read a blog article, read a book, or just go straight to sleep. That's because it's so exhausting. Anyways, but yeah, anxiety is a whole nother level to it. RDJ Power, are you trying to pick a fight here? I think you are. So, you don't like the return type. So, I'm not going to talk too much on anxiety because it is a mental thing, and I would love for people to get better help than from somebody who doesn't deal with it. I can talk about my wife loosely because she does deal with it. But yeah, there's people to talk to better than me. Postgres, thank you so much for the Prime. Thank you for that Prime. There is your custom support message generated just for you. All right, so RDJ Power is saying that this we'll leave the formatting a little rough. All right, this is worse than okay, this was a disaster. Okay, it is worse than this. Let's finish this out. Yeah, okay. So I used to think the same thing. And I want to tell you how that changed. All right. So here, also Postgres, QL. I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your Prime. I like the thing about Primes is they force you to click it every single month. So you can't just be on autopilot. Like, I'm pretty sure, don't tell Dane, he's still subscribed to me. I think it just auto renews, and that's a blessing. But you know, you don't get that with Prime. And so I appreciate that you thought about pressing it for me. I really do. Okay, so what matters here? What's important in here when we're talking about? We could talk about the function name. We could talk about that. It's somewhat important. We could talk about what it takes. That's somewhat important. But actually, these things here, I find are more important when I'm calling the function, not when I'm looking at it to do. What's most important to me is what it returns when I'm actually looking at the function. So when we're looking at this function here, it's what it returns. And a very important thing that we're missing here is, oh no. Did I accidentally? Please don't. What happened to it? Oh, I don't know why it disappeared. Okay. So another thing that happens here is, let's say this is the Rust one. So we'll do public. If this is Java, this is a common one in Java, we'd have a public. We'll keep it simple. We'll just do we'll put a little Java information in here. Okay, so what's important? Well, this isn't really important to me. That's access modifier. That's for, again, somebody using it. I'm looking for what this returns. And when it's pulled off to the end here, it's actually easier to find that information. All of this information isn't really useful right now. When I'm looking at this, serialize, I'm looking at the name, serialize, and what it returns, which is right at the end. when it gets muddied in here, it's less obvious to me as to what it returns. And you brought out a very simple one, int, but what happens if this is a result of I32 and IO error? Now, you've pushed off all of this meaningful stuff here, this here, way off. Whereas here, it's now at the end. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, why is that looking, okay. Something's going wrong with this, but now this is mostly personal preference, and I'm fine if you like one or the other. I'm not trying to convince you. I just found I started really enjoying this. This never changes its location because it never gets longer or shorter. This is always the same length. It's always in the access, the function, and the add are always in the same spot. So it's always easy to find the name. It's always easy to find this, and it's always easy to find this because this is always at the end. Whereas here, oh my goodness, okay. On this one, it changes around because this, whatever you're returning, is in different lengths. So again, for me, I have learned to like this for that specific reason. This is fine. It's fine. But yeah. What do I use for video editing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my typo. I haven't written Java for, I almost said 20 years. I haven't programmed for 20 years, but I haven't written Java for 10 years now. The fact that I remembered that at all, I feel somewhat happy about. I'm sure there's probably other errors here, but anyways, let's not get hung up on the syntax. Like I said, I like this because I've just found it to be more consistent when I actually get into the code. Like I said, all of the names line up. Every single one of these are in the exact same position on my screen. And so coming from a dyslexic person, this is mind-blowingly easier for me to read. I actually, and I know that a lot of people say that Rust is harder or whatnot for them to read, and I don't get that. I honestly don't. It's different. It is different. But I find this serialize, get key, get index, get tombstone. Not one other language would I be able to read those off as fast because they're in different places, but their character starts in the same position every single time. And then the return value is also just as easy to find. It's just the last thing on the line. A vec8, a string, a U64, an option, an option. So I do really like it. I realize it's a personal taste too, or a personal choice too. Yeah. I have not written Java for a long time. I have not written Java for a very long time. I count my blessings. Not writing Java is one of them. You know what? And I will always say this. I do pick on Java and I make fun of Java, but I do clarify a lot of the time that is not actually usually the language that I dislike so passionately, but everyone that writes Java. So Java's probably actually fine, but the way people have chosen to write Java grinds me the wrong way. The Java is the pinnacle of overcomplicating in case possibly your app does well. It's like, let's write this code as obtusely as possible and as hard to figure out exactly what's going on. And this is not Java the language's fault, but Java the community's fault. I'm specifically hating on the community, not the language. The language is probably fine. Yeah, Future Highway, I'm kind of saying it's not the language, it's you. This is probably worse. This is probably worse. Do banks use Java a lot? I could ask some people I know that work at banks. I don't know the majority. The enterprise uses a lot of Java. I'm trying to think of the banks that I know and of public information, so I have to be careful. I can ask around if we are interested. Dane works at their .NET. .NET would be another big one. .NET and Java would be like the enterprise things, right? That's a stupid question. That was a stupid question. Let's see if ChatGPT knows. They might know. What? This is 100% just guessing. It just threw stuff out there. Fantastic. Okay. Again, I actually know stuff from them, but I don't know what's public. So I was trying to get this. Just looks like a shotgun blast attempt of like standard stuff. So Thinkorswim. I personally like .NET better than I do Java. And again, this is maybe not even from the perspective of the language, but more from the perspective of the code that I see. I find .NET to be written in a way that is easier for me to understand and flows better for me. So again, like I'm saying, I don't know that it's specifically the language. Although there are things that annoy me about Java, don't get me wrong. I could go on. I could make an honest ad about it. But I think the thing that I truly dislike the most is the people that write it. And I'm sorry if that's you. I'm not really hating on you. Just a little. Just a little. Okay. If your project uses Entity Framework, I don't like it. I'm sorry. Don't do this. Do the world a favor, do yourself a favor, and write SQL by hand. You will thank me over and over again. Or write it on napkins if you have to. Get a old IBM computer with a punch card and feed your SQL queries in hand punched cards into that machine before you use Entity Framework, okay? I'm not sure if I've been clear enough, but that's what I'm asking. Handcrafted SQL on a punch card is better than Entity Framework. That's right. Okay, so there was this function that we were talking about renaming, right? Where did it go? Did I accidentally delete it? Did I accidentally delete it? I don't see it anywhere here. Wow, so Clutch, you know what? I have had the pleasure of not dealing with it, but sitting in a team that had to deal with it because of choices they made before me. And I then saw another team that adopted it from the ground up. And this is actually almost true of this is actually why I don't use these types of frameworks. And Entity Framework's the most heavy-handed one. What I see and what happens every single time is you go and you're like, oh, I want this thing to manage the database for me so I can think about it as objects. And it's just my objects in code and I can go get these objects and everybody's happy. The problem is that it's a very, I was gonna draw something, but it's a very leaky abstraction. That's a terrible, it's as bad as my handwriting. It's a very leaky abstraction. So what you end up getting is that the databasey parts, the database, let's get a different color here. The databasey parts that are down here. Thank you so much for the follows. The databasey parts down here is kind of what these ORMs are trying to solve. The ORMs sit here. And they try to solve these things. They try to say, hey, don't understand the database. And here's your code. It sits here. And when your project is small, this works amazing. And before you have to do changes and migrations and things like that, there is hardly any problem. It manages indexes. It creates indexes for you. It does all of these things for you. And the problem is 1 year, maybe 2 years down the road, as your application has taken off, this database has made a lot of changes. It's undergone a lot of changes. And the thing is, at this point, you now have to become an expert in this and this, because you have to manipulate this ORM to get the database to look like it wants to, or you go around it, which is actually also terrifying. So basically, now you have to become an ORM whisperer to get the database how you'd like it. You have to not only know how you want the database, but you have to know how to talk to the ORM to get the database in the state that you want. I myself find it easier to do this. Just talk straight to the database. I find it easier to just know one thing in the stack and understand that one thing well. And then I don't have to try to coerce this other thing. Now, if it works for you, I'm happy if it works for you. I really am. I'm not here ever to try to shame somebody into not using something. So if you're sitting here thinking, oh, geez, Merrick, I love my ORM. How dare you? I'm not trying to. You do you. And I'm happy for you. I really am happy for you. If your team loves Entity Framework and they're experts in Entity Framework, I'm sure that they can do it well. This is just my experience every single time I've used an ORM. Let's see. Sometimes limits are a good thing. Yeah, for sure. You work with a lot of Oracle DBAs? I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Guys, was there not a... You guys got me distracted, and there was a function we were talking about needing to rename. And I cannot find it anymore. I'm terrified that we accidentally deleted it, reorganizing everything. I thought it was under the implementation of record, right? What am I making? So we are making, there is this super not popular video series on databases, and we're making the next 2 episodes. So we have 2 episodes. We have one on consensus and we have one on file systems. And we're making the next episode. We make all of them live here on Twitch first. We go through all the really nitty-gritty educational, and then I make a high-level video for the rest of the world. For those who don't want to know it personally and feel it personally. Now, I've written on our database thing what we were trying to do here. You guys got me sidetracked. A link to this. Yeah. Let me find the, there's a playlist. And I'm trying to find the playlist. Oh, here we go. This is the playlist. If you want to, this catches you up to basically where we are. Let me drop this in chat. What is an HTMX native database? It's clickbait. But not fully clickbait, because we did actually implement. It's not clickbait. Stop getting angry. It's not fully clickbait, because one of the cool things that our record engine, our file engine allows us to do is store the records as HTML, which means via HTMX, we can actually just stream records to a browser and allow you to browse your database, which is going to be super powerful for educational purposes. So it's not a lie, it's HTMX native. All right, now, wait, I found it. It's get record from string. Guys, this was not here, was it? There was serialized, this was not here. We looked through here, this file engine. We looked down through here, and there was serialized, there was new record, there was not this thing. Dane, those are wise words. Those are wise words. Anytime you're trying to learn something, and people come on here and ask me, and they're like, hey, should I learn Fast API? Or something like this. And the answer is, you know what? Honestly, as a software engineer, tools come and go. Whatever is the best library for X now might not be there in the future, but what you should do if you're learning, learn the bottom of the stack first. Laravel will allow you to create these websites, and that's awesome, but it's at the top of the stack. You need to first know PHP. PHP is down here for Laravel. Learn this well first. And it's going to allow you to leverage Laravel better. It's like Ruby on Rails. Learn Ruby first. Don't jump into Rails. If you know PHP well, Laravel will be easy. You don't know PHP well, Laravel will be... That would be the same as jumping into... What was I gonna... Building a website with Rocket. You got to learn Rust first. And this goes for just about everything. You know how we were talking about databases? If you are going to use an ORM, and like I said, it's fine. I'm not trying to shame anybody into not using it. Learn the database first. I implore you to learn the database first. And the reason is, if you can learn this first and be good at this, when it comes time to coerce the ORM to do your bidding, you're not struggling with, oh, I think this is what I want with the database, or this is what I need. You know what you want and need with the database, and now it's just learning to do it with the ORM. And then that will power your application. Never use one of these pieces to fill in a knowledge gap. So if you're using an ORM because you don't know how to use a database, this is a problem, and you shouldn't be doing that. Icelandic. Do you actually speak Icelandic? I don't know that you do, but possibly. You're not very polite if you do actually speak Icelandic. Let's keep it a little bit nicer. And in English. All right. You know what? I just missed an ad break. To go get a drink. RDJ Power, are you just on a go hating like spree? What happened? I do have some restrictions on links, but you're more than past those restrictions. As long as nobody abuses links, I will keep it where people can post links. It's an easy way to share information, but we as a community need to regulate it and ensure that people aren't abusing that ability. Because if they are, I'll have to limit it to like subscribers or things like that, which I don't really want to do. My goal isn't to encourage you to subscribe so you can post links. Like, that's not the idea. I'm just giving you guys the warning. It's completely fine with me to post links as long as we don't abuse it. Would we guys like to do a stream with this? Like just a bunch of different servers with WebSockets and see how many connections we can make? So I'm going to give maybe a spicy take here. I would love to do it just as a fun little thing to experiment with. Like, let's see how many WebSocket connections we can make on a Raspberry Pi, and then we'll run the code on the Raspberry Pi, and then we'll simulate a ton of WebSockets from either my machine or a couple cloud machines, and see how many we can handle. The thing that I'd have to say is I hate for people to get caught up in this. So the thing is, let's say that PHP, and you all know that I really dislike PHP, but let's say PHP can handle, let's say it's abysmal, 1,000 WebSockets. And that's all per machine. It doesn't matter how big the machine is. Well, on the cloud, you can get a pretty sizable EC2 instance. Let's say you EC2. Let's say that this is like a M5 medium. That's going to cost you roughly, what, 50 bucks a month? Okay. Now, this is abysmal. I'll just say it out loud. It's abysmal. But it doesn't mean you can't create this. If you know PHP and you know this and you can't create this, if this is 1,000 WebSocket, that probably means you have 1,000 people using your thing. And let's say it doesn't matter if you make this larger, you can make a second one of these. Now you have two. Now you have 2,000 people. And maybe this becomes unmanageable because now it's up $100, and you could make it a lot cheaper because you could run this on a smaller thing if you could handle more WebSockets, and that's fine. But if you're just making the first thing, you can scale anything. You can architect and engineer Python and PHP to scale. They'll suck to do it. You'll pay more for it, but it's fine. Start with it and keep scaling it and keep going. Go create something. If PHP excites you, look at that. 4,000 people are using your service now. And yeah, you have four of these servers that you have to maintain. It sucks. It could just be one. It's $200 a month now. Maybe you could only be spending $50 a month, but it's okay. Well, so Clutch, this is exactly what I'm saying. Where I will love to do these experiments. So if you guys want to do that and we want to use a Raspberry Pi, I saved one Raspberry Pi from the move. And we want to see how many WebSockets with different languages and technologies we can use, or requests per second with HTTPS. I love to do those. My point is that in doing that doesn't mean you can't use the thing. You know, maybe we could do this in Rust or Phoenix for cheaper. And when you hit true scale, when you're talking about billions of requests, cheaper can mean something. You know, cheaper can be hundreds of thousands of dollars a month when I say cheaper. But when you're talking about this scale, it doesn't really matter. And just go create something and don't worry about it. You know, I do have my tendencies on things that I like. I just don't want people to think that I think that you can't do those things. I don't know where this function went, everyone. By the way, it's back. I just had to close out and get back in. That seems really weird to me, but oh well. Its new name, get record from string, is this serializing? No. This would be deserialized record, right? I'm just gonna say deserialize. Oh, that's weird. Okay, this isn't actually truly deserializing, is it? No, it is. We go from a record to a vec. We go from, this is effectively a vec to a record. Yeah. So this is deserialize. Cool. This was garbage. That is true. You guys are co-piloting over there? Oh, that's an awesome idea. Twitch Copilot allows like Twitch to type out a hint. So like that would be a cool thing to get, where Twitch could like type out a hint as you're sitting here. Oh, that also sounds horrible. That sounds like a subscriber only feature. Subscriber only feature. Oh my gosh. RDJ Power. Rust feels like a hyped version of Java without the useful features of Java. But now with 100% less garbage collection, so you have to fight with the thing meant to help you, but instead makes you want to go back to C. Oh, what a spicy take. What features is Rust lacking that Java has? You know, I don't allow people to make spicy comments like that without backing it up. Please inform me of the language features, not libraries, language features Rust is missing that Java has that we actually are missing. Please back that up. OOP. OOP. No, Dutch, it's like the fourth worst because there's JavaScript, there's Python, there's PHP, there's Fran. There's several languages before Java, but Java has billions of devices that unfortunately have the misfortune of having Java on it. Do I gotta start watching on YouTube for these hot takes? I don't know what that means. Wait. I did not say that Java was better than Rust. RDJ Power said that Java was better than Rust because of OOP. You know what, RDJ Power, an interesting question. What does OOP mean to you? What does OOP mean to you? Because it actually means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. If you mean inheritance, I would disagree with you. Also, now, if you want a really spicy hot take that makes people angry, I believe with all my heart and soul that traits, interfaces, whatever you want to call them, are inheritance light. This is true facts with Merrick counts. Traits and interfaces are inheritance light. Think about it. Think about it. Now, that being said, if you said that OOP is small talk, I would argue that Rust does small talk OOP better than Java does. Yeah? You want to do message passing? Rust does it way better. You want to do encapsulation of domain knowledge? Rust does it just as well as Java does. So just saying OOP is very obtuse and means a lot to a lot of people. And again, if you're saying multiple inheritance, well, that's mostly considered bad. Being able to make objects that can attach methods too easily and manipulate with having to rip my hair out. I don't know what you mean by that. I made a object file engine that I attached new methods to, right? Do you want to make a new method on this object? We can do it right here. Check it out. Pub function as string. We just made a new function, a new method on this file engine struct. Didn't pull one piece of hair out. Basically, I tried making a language within Rust. Well, that's probably your problem. This won't return an error. I can talk the it into giving it. It creates a new tombstone record for a key and index. Shortcut. Yeah, it's just a helper function. RDJ Power. Lifetimes made me want to go back to C. Okay, RDJ Power. Let's talk about that. That is something I completely disagree with. If you struggle with memory management in Rust, stay away from anything you have to manage memory in. And I'm being serious on this. I don't mean to be mean or anything like that. If you can't understand memory management in Rust, stay away from any other language. And the reason I say that is most likely you're leaking and doing very dangerous things with memory in C. You're going to segfault, and these are security implications. These are rightness issues. It's better for you to jump on board with something like Go or Java or something that's garbage collected. Because memory management in Rust is effectively just understanding what you're doing with memory. And if this is challenging, that's fine. But just going and writing it in C isn't the right solution. Future Highway, I have the same thing. When people are like, oh, that's too difficult, and I'm just going to go back to C, I'm terrified about the C that they're writing. I'm absolutely terrified about the C that they're writing. Now, I've had a valid argument from somebody at work who was like, well, for the database, we're using things like memory fences in the CPU to eke out more efficiency and more performance. And I think those would be really hard in Rust. I haven't tried them, but we came to the same thing that in the end, you would be writing so much unsafe Rust to do it. You might as well be doing it in C anyways. And the benefits of C wouldn't, or of Rust would be close to none because you'd have so much unsafe code to do the same things. Now, that being said, that's not the majority of people. But, and again, I'm not trying to be mean in this, but this is my understanding of it. If memory management in Rust is causing you pause, one, I think it's a great place to start learning. Go learn memory management. Go learn and understand the stack and the heap. Though, if you don't have a good conscious understanding of the stack and the heap, you're going to struggle with Rust. And I can understand that's going to be painful. That's going to suck. Don't do it. Learn those base concepts. You know how we were talking? We were talking about like learning the bottom of the stack first. So, you know, in PHP, this was larval up here. And you know, then PHP was down here. Well, in the Rust world, we could say that this is Rocket up here, and this is Rust, or, you know, we could say U. This is memory management. You got to learn memory management before you learn Rust. And I'm not saying you have to be like a savant at it or anything like that. You got to understand basic how computers work. And then C, C++, Rust, you can start leveraging those easier. Java, Dutch is just here to trigger people. You know, I actually, I like garbage collected languages. People think that I don't. And I actually wish that Rust had a cousin that was garbage collected. I actually honestly do. The language syntax is so amazing. I wish I could take that and just have it garbage collected and forget about lifetimes. Because right. Wait, I feel like I don't need memory management 99%. Right. I agree with that, Dutch. I'm saying, like, I'd like to have a language like Rust that was garbage collected, not quite as performant. I'd write microservices with it a lot of the time. And then, you know, something that really needed the performance, I would write with Rust. Go is 1/5 of Rust. It does so many things so well. It really does. And then it completely drops the ball on other things. Some types? Let's talk about some types. Algebraic types. Oh, they don't exist. Let's talk about enums. Oh, yeah. So this whole thing that we did here, where we don't have an interface, we just have a thing that we can use, a concrete type, no interface, we couldn't do in Go. All of this. We'd have to pass around an interface, which kind of sucks comparatively. The match statements, oh my goodness, why don't they have match statements? Well, I'll tell you why they don't have match statements. They don't have anything useful to do with match statements because they don't have enums, so they don't have results and things like that. And they have nil pointers. Those are like the big things that if we fix those things, I think Go would be a way better language. Nil pointers kill me. They kill me. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're working here. So these are pretty self-explanatory. Let's check out record. Why do we have two records? Can I delete this one? Can I just delete this one? This was when we were a hash map, right? This was when we were a hash map, right? I don't love. It's fine. I'm with Dutch. My function versus my function. I don't love this for public-private. I think this was pretty bad because I like explicit over implicit a lot of the time. And this is one of those things where, like, this is not that much work. It's not that much typing. And this is too easy to, for me, the reason this is too easy to make a mistake. It's too easy. But it's probably not the end of the world if you accidentally have something public that wasn't supposed to be. Somebody will start using it, and if your thing is a library, and that will happen, that wasn't supposed to use something. It's not the end of the world. I don't love it, but it's fine. I don't need a language to be perfect. I don't sit here and say, hey, Rust isn't perfect. I have an honest ad for Rust. It's going to point out problems that I see with Rust. You stupid fat arrow. Why do I need a fat arrow? I hate it. Anyways, it's going to point out problems. You all know that I love Rust. And hopefully my honest ads let us just talk about have fun and not take ourselves too seriously. All right. I think we can just delete this. So I'm going to delete this. How do I delete this with this tool? Can I delete this with this? I believe I can. I want to delete this. How do I bring up? How do I bring up? I'm with you, Apollo. I don't love the capital or lowercase. It's not the worst thing that the language. Like, if we were to pick things to fix, that would be way down on the list. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that... Like I said, it's not my favorite thing, but it's down on the list. It's down there. It's down there. No, don't make transpilers. Transpilers are the worst. Transpilers are the worst. The only reason TypeScript is fine is because of how dumpster fire JavaScript is. I've been traumatized by transpilation. I do know assembly. Do you guys want to do an assembly stream? We should do one. We should do one. Let's do one. I actually think that assembly is really good to learn. I think all engineers, and so people say that I am attempting to, what do they call it? Where you're trying to like gate people or something, which I think is really stupid because I do a lot of work to help people. And what separates good engineers from other ones is their desire to learn about the science of computer science. And, you know, I'm not going to say here that to make an app, you have to know assembly. I haven't taught my daughter or son assembly yet, and they know a little bit of Python. And that's fine. You don't need to start with it. But I think if you're trying to learn and trying to push yourself to understand computers, a really good step at some point is to go in and learn assembly. Because you actually start to understand how all your code runs. I think what you were getting at was that all languages are kind of transpiled. And I get that. That's called compiling. I get it. I understand. I'm well aware of what's happening underneath the hood. That's what I'm saying, Dutch. Assembly is good to know. It teaches you good fundamentals because it teaches you how things actually work. And no matter how abstract, how high, how many layers you get up, you know, how high in the sky you get with your things, it doesn't matter. All of it goes down to executing on your computer. So I think at some point in your career, it's really good to know assembly at a high level. It's just really good. The majority of the people that I know and respect as software engineers understand how assembly works. I'm not saying that they can sit out there and bust it out. I can't. We'll see it in my assembly stream. I have to look stuff up because I don't write it enough to be like, oh yeah, this is how I do this thing. No, I don't know how to do that. I have to look them up, but I understand how assembly works, and I understand how the computer reads them and does the things with the registers. Like, I get it. Anyways. Cypher, I'm just saying high level. I'm not saying that you know all of the different things. I'm saying understanding how assembly works at a high level is important. Like I said, I don't know it really, really well. I've written very little things in it a little while ago. But I learned a lot from that of how a processor works, how the computer actually works. And I think that's important. Rust was originally written in OCaml. Yes, that's true. What instructions do I normally teach with? I've never taught assembly. I'm not that good. I taught myself x86. So there you go. I mean, I say taught myself x86. I did a little bit. Not that I know a whole lot of it. Yeah, if we do a stream, an assembly stream, let's pick a much reduced one. Let's teach it. Let's do an easy one, because maybe we could make some educational content out of it. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't know of a good one. I'll have to look them up. X86 would be educational for you? Okay. I mean, if people would like X86, we can do it. X86 is a little bloated. But the thing is, you can ignore the bloat. You can just use the simple things. It has the simple things. So, I mean, it's fine, probably. All right. Is this all we need for that? Let's, Oh, how do I delete? That's what I was in here to do. That's not what I meant to do. I wanted to delete this. I think it's like Control D. No. It's not Control D. Space. Not space. No. There's a way to delete in here. You know, I'm going to take the... Watch this. I deleted it. Should I know how to do it here? Absolutely. Do I know how to do it? Absolutely not. No. Oh. Fun story about Little Indian, Big Indian. Let me run an ad and go get a drink really quickly. Then I'll tell you my fun story. Oh, do I know? So I actually contributed to a very low-level networking stack early in my career. And This very thing bit me in the derriere. One second, I'm gonna go get a drink. I am thirsty. And I'm gonna go ahead and run an ad because we're about 10 minutes away from an ad, and I don't wanna have pre-rolls. So to not have pre-rolls, I gotta run ads. So I'll go ahead and run an ad. That way when I'm back, we don't just get an ad afterwards. Anyways, I'll be like 5 minutes. I'll be 3 minutes. I won't be more than 3 minutes. Ads for 3 minutes. Happy watching an ad. I'll be right back. Look at those thumbnails. Cool. All right. Do you guys want to see something that's terrifying? Back in 2016, I think it was 2016. This trolled. I can't get a bigger picture of it. This trolled developers everywhere. Apple was like, hey guys, how about we make the escape key a graphic? And better yet, how about there's no haptic feedback? This will make it almost impossible to know if you hit the button if you're typing normally. Now, Apple trolled us for several years with this innovative design that had absolutely no functional tests whatsoever. I thought the world was rid of this sort of idiotic design. Well, I'm sitting here today to tell you that I got a Dell XPS. Okay, I'm just using it. It wasn't for a review or anything. Do you guys know what Dell did? Do you guys know what Dell did? Let me show you. Look at that. It is a purely flat bar with the escape and delete key. Oh, wait. Those aren't real buttons. They have no haptic feedback. They have no way to know if you actually press them. It's impossible to vim with this keyboard. It's impossible to do a lot of things with this keyboard, like type. You might as well have not put a keyboard on this laptop. Just might as well not have. It's disgusting. It's a nice laptop other than that. It's just mind-blowing because not one of their developers typed on it. I guarantee you not one of them typed on it. I just cannot believe, because I noticed it before I was trying to use Vim on the laptop. Because you hit escape, you hit delete all the time, and it's just a smooth thing. You don't even know if you hit the button or if you hit the one beside it, because there's no way to tell. It's just a smooth panel. Oh my goodness. I thought Apple cured us of that. I mean, I didn't pay for it. It's my new laptop for work. That's the one they support. It's a nice laptop, don't get me wrong. Oh. So, as we all know, Big Endian, Little Endian is basically, Little Endian is where the least significant bit is at the end, and vice versa. So basically, it's forwards and backwards of each other. So I was working on, and I believe people call this Endianness, like END, Endianness. It's a little difficult to pronounce. So anyways, this is basically the order in which bytes are transmitted over a network. A lot of us don't have to think about this, but the thing is, it turns out that these are both ways that servers can transfer data across. Well, because I didn't know, basically I had gotten it in a way where some requests were one way and some were the other. It was the most demented set of requests because it would actually be different per request, because I didn't realize it was a thing. And so like I had just picked an option on some of the things. And so I had an API that used both. And it was pretty terrible. It's not that much of a story. It's not that much of a story other than I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. And yeah. I thought it was funnier than that, but I realized it's not that funny. It's not much of a story. I said there was a story. It's not much of a story. Yeah, wow, so clutch. Indianness. That's it. Indianness. Yeah, whatever. Capability snob. By the way, thanks for joining. Good to see you there on YouTube. Discovered yesterday doing some home networking that you have a working MIPS 32 machine. Nice. What on earth am I drinking? Blood of aliens. The blood of aliens. While moving, I had some friends come and help me, and so I bought a pack of Gatorade stuff. And this is Gatorade stuff. I have a whole bunch of it. I didn't know how much people would drink. It was hot and sweaty. I drank. I got too much. I got too much. I don't know where you all are from, but Indiana, I can almost throw a stone and hit it. You guys realize that. I live on the better side of the river, though. All right. Actually, does this all compile now? In the northern part of Indiana, you get windmills, too. Some in Illinois, too. It's cornfields. It's bean fields on every other one. You know, every other year you get beans. Oh, cool. Did you ever make it to Louisville? We used to have DEF CON, DerbyCon. We don't host it anymore. Dutch, there's being stupid, and then there's that. August is the worst month to go camping anywhere in North America. Unless if it's Alaska. It might be great in Alaska, but... Wait, you've never seen fireflies? You've never seen fireflies? Does the rest of the world not have fireflies? Really? 1 second. I don't believe this. I did not realize this. Give me a stupid picture. I did not realize this. Huh. They're out in troves right now. You look outside and the sidewalk's half lit up. I always called them lightning bugs. But I know what you meant by fireflies. So I know that people refer to them as fireflies, but we always called them lightning bugs. Interesting. I really didn't know that. I didn't know that Valid record proto. Oh, I think I screwed this up. Let's look at this. I did not realize that they were just a northeastern US. it's weird. It's really weird how different bugs are different places, because like there's a lot of really different bugs that are when you travel the different continents that are just not like when you go to Southeast Asia. Like there's a lot of different bugs that I always think of bugs being the universal constant across. Everybody has ants, everybody has termites, but it's not actually true. Even northern versus even like termites. There's different termites down here than there are up here. So up here in the northern ones, we only have ground termites. They don't actually infest your home. They'll eat on your home, but they actually live deep in the ground because of freezing, and they can't survive freezing. Whereas down here, they actually have a different type of termite that doesn't live in the ground because it never freezes. But then you travel over, to Southeast Asia, and I got to spend some time in Taiwan, and they have a whole different selection, which is kind of cool because you don't think about it. I had never thought of fireflies either, which is cool. Mosquitoes suck. Nice one, Apollo. Nice one. I thought it was in this file. Oh. This one. Wait. Does the rest of the world not have mosquitoes? I will be severely angry if the rest of the world doesn't have mosquitoes. They are the worst. I will be angry. Dang it. Dang it. We get tornadoes and we get mosquitoes. Oh, where am I at? Very nice. Wow, so clutch. I am here-ish. I am here-ish. Alberta? Oh. I actually like Alberta. I've spent some time in Vancouver over here. My brother lives in Seattle. He worked for Microsoft and Amazon. And then I worked for SUSE, and SUSE's headquarters for the US were in Seattle. So I spent time over there and got to go to Quebec, or Vancouver. Sorry, my bad. Quebec is on the other side, but, yeah. And then I've gotten to spend some time around the Northern Lakes. Yeah, I don't know. I've had some time in Canada. I don't know. Yeah. I've lived most of my life over here. Did you get a fun fact about the US? Did you guys know that like from here over is like 85% of the United States population, and then there's like 10% on the coast here, and it's like 5% is in here. Very small amount of the United States lives here. Very interesting. It's because of the weather patterns. and water. Not a whole lot of water. Because it gets blown away. So tornadoes are actually because of the Rocky Mountains. I found this really fascinating, just on a scientific level. The reason we get tornadoes through here, and this is Tornado Alley, kind of like this area right here, is because of the weather patterns and how they are affected by the mountains, which I found fascinating. Like, the reason we have these massive tornadoes is because of these mountains way over here, affecting us all the way over here. You live near the Canadian Rock? The Rockies are American. Stop trying to take them, Canada. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing, by the way. I understand. It's okay, Canada's not real. I hope everybody knows that I'm joking when I say things like that. Yeah, we do well with our tornadoes. You know, we're proud of them. We've got the biggest tornadoes in the world. I also heard that, oh, wait. Oh, this is in the file. Oh, I'm in the wrong. Wait. No, this is in file engine. I'm in the file engine. So where I live, we don't really get hit by hurricanes because hurricanes can't be on the land. So Florida breaks most of the hurricanes, and if Florida doesn't, the East Coast does. I live in here, which means like I get hurricane rain, but it's just rain. It can be some storms. Ooh, interesting though. Just a week ago, 3 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. We got like 100-mile-an-hour winds, like straight winds, not tornadoes. Tornadoes are twisty winds. We got straight winds, like just, and tornadoes, the EF0 tornadoes are like 85-mile-an-hour winds. So like our straight winds were a little bit faster than weak tornadoes. I'm sorry, this is not a weather stream. I apologize. I've just gotten so sidetracked. This is a stupid error, and I got sidetracked. Apollo, I don't think rocket launches has anything to do with hurricanes. Capability snob. I make that. I tease that sometimes, but only with actual friends from Canada, not strangers from Canada. I don't want to hurt their feelings. To talk about the 51st state. No Canadian wants to talk about the 51st state. Why is this not erroring here, but erroring here? Expected file record proto record. Found file engine proto record. I think I have a bad include. I think it's a wrong include. So let me just, let's see. It expected a file record proto record, but found a file engine proto record. So let's go to the top here. I said top. And it found a file engine proto. Do I include file engine? No. This is the file engine module. This right here. I included proto here, right? Shouldn't have done that. Right. Okay. I see what's happening here. You know what? Let's actually undo that. Let's delete that now. And let's go to the mod, right? I think I see what's going on. We should import this once. And now we should be able to use that. So the problem was, I think, that we're mixing those two. I think. Everybody wants to be their own country until it becomes being their own country. And you know what? Being your own country is a pain. It means you have to fund your own military, your own foreign aid, your own foreign embassies. It's a lot of work. Apollo, you are actually correct. It is illegal at this point. After the Civil War, it is illegal, but I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's illegal, right? Like, it doesn't, it's like if there's another world war, it doesn't matter if we've said that you're not allowed to do something in a war. You're already at war. What are you going to do? Declare war on them again? Doesn't really matter, right? I mean, I'm not saying that it's not fine to have these things on principle, to say that that we shouldn't be doing them. But it loses impact. Right. That's all right. Let's not get into too much politics. I don't want to get into too much politics. Let's not do that. Let's get into code. All right. I was fixing this. We should now be able to. You know what? I don't like how I did this, because now we're going to have to do something like use super. What was it? Proto record. We could just use proto, maybe. Let's see. Now I think we will be good here. And then we'll delete this from here. And we'll use super proto. Still erroring, but did it change? Did we get a new error? Mod record in main. File not found for module. Record. Oh, I did delete that, didn't I? Okay, this is good. That's good. The language server seems to be really, really slow right now. I don't know if I need to update it. Have we used this error? We have used this error. I don't... Not in the null DB, if that's what you're saying. If that's what you're asking, Dirk. I don't think so. How to restart language server in Vim. It's like LSP something. Restart. No. LSP restart. Oh man, I was so close. I was so close to guessing that right. Something's unhappy. Something is unhappy. I have fleet. Fleet command. It's not working. It's not working right now. Fleet command is down. We'll have to survive on our own. I did test it out. I tested all the editors that I could find. Do we have a fleet folder? We can delete that. Is it one of those annoying ones that it creates a folder for you? It does. Oh my gosh. Ugh. There we go. That's probably what was getting tripping Vim up. That was the problem. I liked Fleet. I tried it a little bit. I don't know why it's not working now. Probably not up to date enough. It didn't have anything special that would make me want to use it, particularly, I guess was the big thing. Like, they really were pushing... what was it? They had just gotten plugin support, and they were really pushing like their code spaces. They don't call it code spaces, but they have something like code spaces that they were really pushing. It's fine, but I don't use it. Yeah, so I mean, it was fine. I don't know. Yeah. This is true. Source index mod. I really hate it because I used to really like... I used to really like IntelliJ, but I feel like they've lost their... This is my problem. This is my problem. If I want to, where's their IDEs, developer tools? So we can look at their IDEs, and they have a bunch of them. And what annoys me is that for me, I like to program in a couple things. So I'm going to have to get Go because I program in Go. And I'm going to have to get Rust Rover because I program in Rust. And then, you know, I also have some C and C++. I don't do that very often. So maybe I need Sea Lion. But now it feels like nickel and diming. Because if you go and like actually try to get these, first, it's not cheap, but it's not terrible. And I like how they reward you for using them. Where they give you a discount. But it's like, I now need to pay $250 per thing. And for 3 of them, I might as well now get all of them, but I don't need all of them. I need 3 of them, but 3 of them is the same price as all of them. So now they basically force you into buying all of them, which is now kind of expensive. Like if you're looking at it, like this is not cheap. You're talking about $779. This is almost $1,000. And they recently took out where it used to be like Sea Lion had a plugin for Rust, and they ripped all of those things out. To the extent, did you guys know that at this point you cannot write JavaScript in Rust Rover or Goland? Or you can it still supports TypeScript. Okay, so it's Rust Rover. You can't even do TypeScript. So you can't do full stack. If you wanted to do a full stack, you can't do it. The same with Sea Lion. So like, I guess I have to have 3. Anyways, that's my problem with it. It's gotten too... I don't want all of them. Why can't I just get one that does all of them? Idea doesn't... This is for Java and Kotlin. They don't have the Rust or Go plugins for it anymore. They removed them from it, so you can't even make it work for it. Not the last I tried. Use it all the time? Okay. For Rust? Use this for Rust. Huh. I can try. I can give it a try. It wasn't just the last couple of months that they removed Rust from Go. So it used to be that I used Golang. I used Goland and I ran Rust in it. But when Rust Rover came out and it went like full thing, they removed that plugin. So Goland can't do Rust anymore. But I guess I assumed that was true of IDEA as well, and maybe that's a bad assumption. Yeah, Future Highway. This is, like I said, this was kind of my issue, is they keep taking things away. Like, I believe you, Cypher. I believe you. Oh, wait, you have Ultimate Edition. You have the one that you're paying for. Cypher, that's not fair. You don't have the Community Edition. Oh, okay, I'm talking about the Community Edition. And yes, if you want to shell out $700, but that's what I'm saying. They almost force you to. You're actually going into my point, is they almost force you to move on to their biggest and best plan because, and if you're a company, that's great. Like $700 a year for a productivity tool is not a problem. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, personally, people ask me why personally I don't use it. And personally, my YouTube and Twitch combined don't make that yearly. Yearly. So I would be in the negative. I'm still in the negative, but, you know, more in the negative. I've heard really good things about Rider. I've heard really good things about Linux people using Rider for .NET stuff. Oh, 300 a year? That's better. Yeah, 700 a year is just so much. It's a lot. Oh, our okay, this is easy enough. Our language server is just not working. At all. We had this happen once before, didn't we? We had this happen once before. What was causing that? Do we need to do like a rust up on something here? Because our language server is basically useless at this point. 485. It's getting these. Oh. It has them red underlined, but next error is it says no more valid diagnostics to move towards, but it has them underlined. Interesting. Interesting. And now we get a check mark. Feels like I was being lied to. feels like I was being lied to. Oh, that's right, Cypher. I don't think that's happened again. Hopefully not. I haven't installed. What was the fix? Did I just do where Vim uses the local one? I think that is what I did. So it's interesting. It's telling me this one now. Okay. We wrote our own raft, Cypher. It was like 3 weeks of January. It was effectively all January. So the whole idea is to learn about these things. And so we actually wrote all of Raft to understand. Now, that being said, we need to go over it because it's not perfect. I didn't implement all of Raft. There's ways for the snapshot syncing and fast forwarding and some stuff like that, which we didn't implement because the idea was to learn the basics of how Raft works. So now where do we go forward from this? I don't know, because, you know, we've done Raft. Like the basics. And now, do we leverage another Raft thing? Or do we go on to do like Omni Paxos? I don't know where we take this. Like, we could continue to fill out Raft, our implementation of it, but I'm not really interested in handling every edge case and every little thing or anything like that. So maybe we use a library moving forward. Maybe we move to Omni, like Paxos based approach. The thing is, most of your big databases do their consensus. They have their own unique way of doing it, and that's because it affects how you hold your records. So I don't know. I have to think about it. But yeah, we have a basic implementation of Raft. Yeah, I thought about actually doing Paxos. Like doing single Paxos, not multi Paxos. But then, like, how much do we want to get into it? Do we want to do a multi Paxos? Do we want to do Lamport's clocks? Do we want? Oh my goodness, there's so much we could do. Did I test with Jepson? If Jepson wanted to come in here and test, he was more than welcome to come in here and test. He's more than welcome. I can tell him where the bugs are, but that would be super cool. I would love to have Jepsen on stream. So this is why you guys need to tell more of your friends about my stream. Get those viewer and follower numbers up so that Jepsen will come on and talk databases with me. Yep. So really, it's your fault that Jepsen's not on here. Think about it that way. I have no idea if he would agree to that. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. I know my alerts don't say the anonymous person that gifted a sub. In the future, they will give you credit. Trust me. I have something fun planned for the anonymous people. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. And you know what? You gave it to Dutch. Dutch likes watching ads. So unfortunately, you gave it to the worst person because he actually likes watching ads. It has so much more mower now. Send him to the corner. Yeah, Dutch gets sent to the corner often. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Get string. So we actually, Cypher, we're working on making YouTube videos for consensus and file system. So that's actually what we're doing right now. So we're doing the file system because basically we built a file system that's going to let us do some other stuff. And then we also did consensus. And so we're cleaning up the file system to make the video about it. We did like some of the objectives of the lesson plan, and I'm going to make the YouTube video of it. For any of you that don't know, here's the YouTube videos so far previous to this, talking about databases. So we're adding another thing in this. If you go to my main channel, it's all the blue ones. I've tried to keep them looking similar, so like it was easy to tell which ones were the database, but there's also this playlist. So, you know, you can just check out the playlist. We're making the next episode, which is file system, and then the next one is consensus. We do it all live here on Twitch, and then I try to make YouTube videos. They're going to change up a little bit. I'm going to try to make them fun and entertaining more than the educational, and I'm going to leave the educational to here on YouTube as we do or here on Twitch as we actually do the things, because I think that will work better for YouTube videos. We'll see. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, honestly. Give me some consensus problems. I know exactly what I'm doing. Lamport clocks. I gotcha. How to run a successful YouTube channel. I don't know that I'm your person there. I don't know. Oh, here we go. No variant, no method replace. This feels like we're importing the wrong thing, but that's not the wrong thing. And why doesn't, oh, this might be a bug, right? We had 2 records. What is this function doing? We'll come back to this. There were some other things. Oh, this is the file compactor, everyone. So we did this. This was actually on purpose. So the reason this doesn't work with any of this, let me see. I think this was just us talking about stuff. Yeah, we can delete all this. So when we did consensus and the file system, one of the things we did was we broke file compaction. So file compaction is broken now. And why did we do that? Well, the thing is, and this is why I don't personally love Raft. Raft doesn't do file compaction. It does file snapshotting. We can actually look this up. So we just implemented Raft off of the paper. And if you go and look through here, as all right. So a server replaces the commit engine log, blah, blah, with a new snapshot, which just stores the current state. The snapshot is last included in term served position in the snapshot of preceding. So it doesn't use compaction. Let's see. We can do. They actually specifically call this out. Incremental log cleaning and log structured merge trees are also possible. These operate on the function of data at once, so the data spread the load compaction more evenly and over time. So basically, compaction doesn't work with Raft directly, or it's not how the paper did it. And if we go with compaction as it was standardly, then there's things like install snapshot that doesn't work. And so we have to actually rework some of this stuff. And this is where I don't know, like, how far down the path of Raft do I want to go? Basically, if we do a pure implementation of Raft, it basically is etcd. So if you don't know what etcd is, basically pure Raft is etcd. And so that's uninteresting to me because I want to do more with this database and I want to learn more stuff than just etcd. Like one of the things that I'd like to do is I want to do native vectors, which maybe we can do with etcd, vectors and stuff like that. I would love to do some a vector index. I think that would be super cool and a great learning experience. I would like to do another thing that Raft doesn't allow for if you're talking about flashbang paper. If you're talking about pure what they described, it doesn't allow for anything but voting nodes. So another thing that we'd like to do is replicas. And Raft doesn't do any of these things. But then my thought continually with this is, how far in the weeds do we want to go? I don't know. I'll leave that somewhat up to you all. How far you guys want to go. That being said, our file compaction is broken as of doing Raft because Raft can't run while file compaction is going. So, wait, isn't Raft basically only replicas since it requires a leader election? Cypher, you're correct, but what I mean is this. Let's say we have these are all nodes in our database. And I'm going to say some stuff about databases that are going to be a little spicy. Your database has to work when things aren't going right, when there's network failures and things like that. Has to work. But we also want it to work extremely well when things are working as they should be, because it should be geared towards working in the proper environment. So if we have all 6 nodes per raft, let's say this is a record, red is a record. Per raft, there'll be a leader that has the record, and then there'll be followers that also have the record. But if you're talking about raft, every single one of them has to have the record. Now, this doesn't scale your database very well, right? We want more storage. We make a new node, but we don't get new storage because every single one of them has to have it. And this is a problem. What we'd like to see happen here is that this one will be the leader for this record. And it will have, we can set a replication factor and we can have those replicas. And then for this record, this one will be the leader for it. And this one will be the replica. And this one will be the replica. And then for this record, maybe this one will also be the leader for it. And this will be the replica holder. And this one will be the replica holder. This allows you to scale your storage in an optimal way. And Raft doesn't allow for this. Raft doesn't give you the concept of being able to distribute in replicas. Now, the other cool thing that you can do with this is make this like a region-aware type of thing. So what we could do, or, you know, some databases call this rack awareness, but it could be a rack, it could be a region in a cloud. You could make these lines and say, I don't want a record replicated in the same region. So basically, if this was the leader for this record, oh, that's too close to the red. 1 second. We'll go with this one. If this was the leader for this record, this couldn't, and this one couldn't be the ones to have it replicated. It needs to be replicated here. And now that it's here, it can't be here or here, and it's going to be replicated here. And now we have our 3 replicas, and they're in 3 different availability zones, 3 different racks, 3 different groups, whatever it is. Right, Dutch. It's a replica set concept, and then you have quorums and striping and all of this stuff. So this is where I'm again, people weren't super interested in these videos, and I'm gonna try to make them peppier. I'm gonna try to make them better, because maybe they were a little bland. You know, maybe they were a little bland, but you know. We're gonna try with this file system one, and then if that works and does well, we'll do it with consensus as well. If it doesn't work out, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just do them as bytes, null bytes, where I do like a live stream like I just did right now. It will be cheaper production, it will still be fine, but yeah, we'll see. Console, I think console uses Raft, right? I'm pretty sure it uses Raft. Yeah, it uses Raft. Well, what is the measurement? You know, that's a good thing. I would say that if it gets 70,000 views, it does well. It does really well. I don't know. So these stats, 1 second, let me cone of silence you and let me see if I can give you better stats, because this looks, I would say that 1,000 views is pretty good. but nobody actually watched this. So the average view duration was like 10 seconds. I don't even know how people knew to dislike it so quickly. So this is deceiving. This doesn't give you a full picture of what people thought of this video. Like, people stopped watching now. I'm not sure if I'm that ugly or this graphic upset them, but it was pretty bad. So I guess it's a little interesting on how, let me see. I can try to show you some of like the analytics that I have or something. I guess my statement is it depends. It depends. It's the hair. It's the hair. I think it's the hair. It's probably the hair. But yeah, so like we can look at like this. I don't know that there's any, I don't know that I'm not allowed to show any of this stuff, so I'll show it. I don't mind showing you guys YouTube stuff. There is like, by 30 seconds, most people left. Probably the hair. You're right. So we're talking about 3% actually watched the video. So even though this got 1,000 views, I would say that it did fairly poorly. I was pretty discouraged by, it's why I haven't done one for a little while. They take a lot of work. Writing all of the consensus on Twitch took a lot of work. It might be the autoplay. That's an interesting idea. I can tell you, though, they don't do this for other videos. I can bring up another video. So if autoplay is it, I would feel like this would be similar. So like my Scrum one, which I guess people don't like endings, but the Scrum one looks like this, right? At 30 seconds in. So it still did relatively poorly. We can take one that didn't even, so anyways, my point is, I would love, I'm going to say 1,000 real views. I would love to see 1,000 real views. That would be good in the first like 2 months. 1,000 real views in the first 2 months would be awesome. And by real views, I mean people that got 50% of the way through, actually watched the content. I don't know about Scrum. So when Prime watched it, it actually leveled for a little while. I don't know if I got views from Prime. I honestly don't know. It did stop for about a week. If we look at... So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Now, it's done very well. Don't get me wrong. But of all the views, only 10% were direct from external. So maybe about 10% are from Prime. That's a possibility. That's a possibility, which is a lot. But most of them were from the homepage. Oh, I actually can show you guys that. They have those. How viewers found this video. So yeah, you can see stuff like this. Yeah. So, you know, YouTube homepage was 62%. YouTube recommendations. Up next was 3.2. Direct or unknown was 15. External is 10. I guess, wait, I don't know what the difference between direct or unknown and external. And then there was some people that searched for it. And what's other? Wait, I don't understand how we have 3 of these. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyways, these are kind of fun to look at. What's see? Oh, see all. See all does this. Right? Yeah. You can. Yeah. So it just does like a browse feature was 40,000. And it breaks down. This is actually really interesting because you can actually graph like who watches your videos for longer. I've never actually. This might be fun to actually do like data science on in some stream. Is like, do browse feature people watch longer or do the direct unknown people watch longer? My guess would be that the direct people watch longer because they're going there because it's either they clicked on my LinkedIn. I got about 1,000 clicks on my LinkedIn. Or my Twitch post or whatnot. And they were expecting to watch my thing. So I expect that, oh, you can see here, the average view duration for the direct or unknown is higher than the browse feature. That's what I expected, and it's right here. Search, again, people are searching for it. I would expect that to be higher. Other YouTube features, whatever the crap that is, that's my best category. Other YouTube features is my best category. Thank you, YouTube, for making that useless. I want these people. These are the people that like me. These are my people. Yeah. That's... I don't know. It's sad because so. Oh, no problem. I'm here to try to do my place to help. How I can. However I can help people. I don't have a whole lot of stuff to hide. Except my middle name. Gotta hide my middle name. I gotta keep some anonymity. Whatever. So this is one thing that I struggle with is people want this short, easy to do information, but these are really difficult to break down into these really short things. And I know that some of my stuff has rambled more than it needs to. So like I know that it does because it's hard to talk about these things and I could break them down easier. I'm trying to get back to... So, you know, my database ones. Easy. I could probably make them shorter, but it's difficult to do that and convey all of the needed like when we do consensus, this will be hard because it will be a 20-minute slog, and that's just covering the easy cases, right? That's just covering the easy cases. It's not George. It's not George. All right, we'll do this isn't actually even that fun because I'm on LinkedIn. Like, finding me is not difficult. I was gonna make it a challenge and give a reward. I have a little board I'd send to somebody in the US who could find it, but it wouldn't even be fun. It's like 5 minutes tops. The problem with me is I'm not a soccer player. Wow, I'm actually on the front page. I'm all of these. I didn't used to be on the front page. I'm not used to that. There's a soccer player called Merrick, too. Anyways, it's not fun. You guys get my middle name. It's not George. My goodness. You'll never guess it. Because my parents were like that. Look, I have a Polish name from a mostly German and Italian heritage in America. Do my parents strike you as people that would name my middle name George or anything that you would guess as an American name? No. Is it something you would guess as not American? No, it's not. It's just weird. It's not quite that bad. It's not quite that bad. It's not Belgian. You had no idea that the channel was your name, though? Yeah, so on YouTube, I go by, Null Labs, and I like that. And I thought about changing. I think this is a ton of fun. Absolutely ton of fun. And I like Null Labs. I think it's cool. On Twitch, I kind of wanted a personal experience. I kind of wanted that personal thing. For me, this felt like narcissistic to make it Merrick. It's not about me. I wanted to make a place where we could learn and experiment and talk about those things. And you know what? Honestly, my Twitch is the same thing. I just thought it was more personal. Anyways, it's my name. Yep, it's just my name. Lob saying too, you're getting close. You're getting close to my middle name. It's actually a misspelling of funny, I know, but a misspelling of a common word. And do you know why my parents named me that? Psychopaths. They're psychopaths. I love you, Mom. I know you watch some of my streams. I love you too. Fantastic woman. Psychopath, but fantastic woman. I have to say that. She's feisty. Boy named Sue. Oh, you are not far off. They named me it because it rhymes with my other siblings' middle names. Yep, that's my middle name. You got it, Cypher. Nice job. J. J-A-E, because it rhymes with my siblings' middle names, which are all A-E. All moms are a little psychopath. I understand. And you know what? I actually understand why now. Once you've raised children and had to put up with the things that your children do, you understand why parents turn out the way they do. I'm like, oh, I understand now. I understand. I get it. Yep. J-A-E. It foretold a lifelong event of misspellings. All right, so what do we want to do here, honestly? So I deleted the file that it was using. But the thing is, it has to be turned off right now because it's just broken if we use Raft. I have to think on this one. I have to think on this one because exactly, Dutch. Or when you say things and you're like, I remember my parents said that exact same thing, and I remember I hated it. And your son's just like seething angry, and you're like, son, I know how you feel. And then I was like, I remember my parents saying that and thinking they have no idea how I feel. And I'm like, I absolutely know how they felt when I said that. And so then I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I know how you felt. Because it's just full circle. Anyways. I'm going to postpone this. We could just comment out the file. That feels bad. But it's also, I mean, we could fix it to work with the new record types. And maybe that's what we need to do. We'll just update it to work with the new record types. It won't be right. We still can't use compaction while using Raft, but it is what it is. We do need to figure out what we're going to do for it, though. If people actually really like this, I will continue it. Like I said, 1,000 would be awesome. 1,000 real views. People that watched more than 2 minutes. The other thing is, like I said, I can make them bites. And so, like, if that would be the better way to do it, just prepare, do a stream where I live record it, and that's all. I can do that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll figure it out. Okay, so instead of new, we're inserting lines into our set. Okay, so instead of new, what is this set? Ooh, this is gonna be kind of a lot of work, isn't it? Where do we set up this data? I hate future or past me. I do. All right, so this set now has this. What we don't have, and what the old set had, was a hashing. We need to actually re-implement that, because what this did, let's look it up. What this record. So what it did was basically, for a record which was a key value, we have to implement hash for it, because we only want to hash the key, because we're checking to see if it's the same record. So we're only checking key for sameness, not the whole record. So we actually need to do this for our new record as well. We actually need to do this because, oh gosh, this gets gross. I gotta do it for every single one, don't I? Ugh. Can I do it just for enum? I can. Okay, watch this. We'll do it. What is it that we're implementing? Hash. It's just hash. Okay. Implement hash brown? Hash brown? That's what you got? Hash brown. My coding assistant came up with hash brown. What code did this get trained off of? What? That is fantastic. I think it's capital H. McDonald's private repo has been hacked. The name of my coding assistant is Leet Troll. Leet Troll. That's my coding assistant. It's a Copilot. Oh, is hash brown a crate? Is it really? That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I didn't know that hash brown was a hash. What is it useful for? What does it do for hashing? Google's high performance Swiss table hash map. Oh, cool. Swiss table hash maps are cool. But it's part of the standard library. So we don't, it's not that popular because it's gone. Okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. I mean, no, this is cool. This actually, I love this about Rust. This is one of the coolest things about Rust is in Rust, if you can do it in the language, you can do it outside the language. These are equal. I don't know why it's that color. Can we change that? There we go. And I absolutely love this. So like in Go, there was things that you could do inside the language that you can't do outside of the language. And one of the really cool things that this breeds is it breeds stuff like this, where this happens all the time, where people implement a better X outside the language that gets implemented into the language. And because there's nothing you can do outside the language that you can do inside the language. So it's perfectly valid to do it out here, and then it can be moved in if it wants to become part of the standard library. I like it. Swiss tables have a lot of holes. Absolutely. That's what they're known for. I'm just gonna borrow this really quickly. All right, so now we're just hashing the key like we would like. What can I do outside of Go that I can't do in Go? So very classically, for a very long period of time, there was maps and slices. You could not implement these in the language. They could only be implemented in the, they could only be implemented in the language. They couldn't be implemented as a thing in Go. Like, you couldn't make a library of maps and slices in Go. The language didn't have the features to provide and build these types of things because there was no generics, right? So this is the type of thing that Go doesn't have. The same thing goes with threading. Go doesn't provide any threading like primitives, like the bare things. And so there's no way for you to provide a new threading construct that's not on top of those that they already have. We could go on, but Go in general doesn't have a lot of that type of stuff. Did we implement partial equals before? Impl equals for record. I guess yes, we did. Okay, let's check out what this is wanting. Okay, cool. I wasn't trying to be like... It is a thing that Rust has that I do think is cool, but it's not like the end of the world. It was just the one that came to mind because I know Go best. It's easiest for me to compare to Go. There's a lot of languages like that, I think, but there's also a lot of languages that do provide all the stuff so you could implement it outside as well. So again, I don't know it. That's like one of those more nuanced things that you really have to get into a language. I couldn't tell you about C#, even though I could write some lines of C#. I couldn't tell you if C# had all those things. Yeah, actually, I probably need to get going too. Let's see, partial equals. We also need to do impl equals. All right. I think this looks right. I think this looks right, actually. So we're just comparing the partial equals is just comparing the key, right? For each one of them. And that will return the bool. Yeah, this looks good. Actually, good job too. I mean, we've had examples of it throughout here. Like I said, this is kind of what the AIs do really well, which is statistical analysis, which is cool. And this is what we need to do because basically when we're judging if it's the same record, it is whether they have the same keys. We could make this a function, but the reason equal works really well here is because here we just use a hash set. So a hash set says there can only be one. It is 1 a.m., isn't it? It's 1:15, so I need to get going. I have a long day of work tomorrow. I had fun. Let's find somebody to raid. Thanks for joining me, everyone. This Saturday, we'll hopefully we'll be done with the file system and we can get into reviewing the, we'll get into reviewing the consensus and hopefully I'll have some more thoughts on that. If you have some, let me know. On like, what are our next steps with the consensus? Yeah, I have work tomorrow. All right, here's a person, Quantum Apprentice. We have rated him before. He's working on some C++ Fallout 2 modding, which sounds fantastic. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I had fun. We'll get more stuff done on the database. We'll make some more stuff. We'll make some more content for YouTube. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it. And thank you for joining. And I will see you guys Thursday. Bye.